Hello and welcome to Forever Sports. The Junior Boks are in the Under 20 World Championship final, beating Argentina 48 points to 24. A first start blitz, which saw the Junior Boks score 4 tries within the opening 20 minutes, was enough to then withstand a very good effort from Argentina as the game went on. But at the end of the day, it was never a game the Junior Boks can lose after that first top performance. And they go into the final with a lot of momentum. They are taking on the Junior All Blacks Saturday, 8:30 over in Italy. Make sure you go and tune in because this is a very, very special Junior Boks side. Incredibly diverse in the type of players we've got, though. You know, there's power, there's pace, there's skill set. There's some proper players who I think are pretty much ready to take on your URCs, Curry Cups quite already. And we saw all of it on display. A couple of worrying signs with regards to maybe the set pieces not working as well as we'd like to. Scrums, a bit of an issue. Lineouts weren't particularly clean. Our maul defense needs a lot of work. But overall, making moments happen. And, transition defense onto attack was sublime. When we were on, we were seriously on, and scoring one of the best tries you'll see off the kickoff. Watu Klikani bursting through Imlava with the pace, Ashin P with the finish. There were so many different things to try and sort of dissect in that game. It'll be very interesting to see what the Junior All Blacks, for example, choose to focus on with regards to trying to analyze that performance because it was a little bit everywhere, really, from the Junior Boks. Before we get into it, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Let's have a look, shall we? So, all started in the 8th minute when Bester eventually went over. We built some good early momentum. Hashim Pede, tap and go, finding space. As soon as he was about to be tackled, popping it up to Ali Bester, he went over. But look at that, hey? So 8th minute, 5-0. Then, bang, Pete goes over 2 minutes later. It was off the kickoff. Bartakani burst through a gap, looked for options, popped it up to Wandile Mlabi, who's got so much pace, good skill set as well. And he just put the hammer down. Then he offloaded to Hashim Pede, who had the pace to go all the way. Vusimura adds an extra. We then could see a penalty shortly after the next kickoff, and Argentina get into the game. Bang. Jaco Williams, once again, Vusimura at the heart of it. Ball over the top. I think he did kick it quite deliberately to try and create a bit of an awkward bounce. It actually bounced really high the first time, then bounced away from the Argentine wing, and Williams ran straight onto a try number 3 in the 16th minute. And Vusimura adding the extras. And just 5 minutes later, JJ Turan with a far more forward-orientated try. Couple of phases at the back of a maul, pick up and go, over we went. So literally, it took us 17 minutes to go from scoring our first try to being 28-3 up. And that period was just phenomenal. We were just so good, so dominant. We were winning every sort of small battle, the bounce of the ball, line breaks, scrums looking all right. Our lineup was functioning. We could not do anything wrong. However, then we struggled to do a lot of things right, to be honest. There was actually a break after the Vusi conversion where we had a drinks break, and that completely stopped all the momentum from the Junior Boks. And all of a sudden, Argentina started getting more opportunities. And there was a moment, I always talk about when you're under pressure, when you're struggling, try and sort out a set piece. You've got to find something to try and launch on. And Argentina had a scrum inside their own half, and they won a penalty from that scrum. That was a turning point. That little bit of momentum, a little bit of belief. They kicked downfield, won another penalty, and all of a sudden, we're piling on the pressure on the Junior Boks, eventually conceding a penalty, Superior Ngobiza going to the bin, and that was just because of so many penalties being conceded. And just after that, Garcia Campos going over, Benedict with the conversion. We actually conceded another penalty, and it was actually kicked dead. So had they been able to make that part count and convert that try, we could have actually gone at 28 points to 17, and Argentina would have had all the momentum. Second half, Argentina just picked up where they left off, to be honest, and it didn't look like we'd had much of an opportunity to regather ourselves. We kind of just looked a little bit deer in headlights, really. And Silva went over in the 50th minute. Benedict with the extras, 28 points to 17. Not to say blown, but we've gone from being 25 points ahead to suddenly being just 11 points ahead. But, and this is what we did consistently well in that second half, pressure on the Junior Boks. Look at the response. Penalty a few minutes later, take the 3 points. Penalty a few minutes later, take the 3 points. And then bang, Bester went through with a very well worked try. Our transition on turnover ball is the best in the tournament. And you don't really say it a lot for a lot of South African sides. We're not known for our transitional play. We're not known for our counter-attacking rugby. This team is. There's so much pace and skill in that side. And that was basically the score that broke Argentina's back. 60 minutes, all of a sudden, 41 points to 17. And all that pressure had basically been taken off us, and Argentina didn't go away. You got to give them credit. They stuck to their processes. They stuck to the set piece, and they were dominating our set piece. I think what's important over here is after this try, we unloaded the bench, really. On the 50-minute mark, we unloaded the bench, and we were under so much pressure. The lineup wasn't working. The scrums weren't working. We unloaded the bench, and the bench did stand up to a certain degree. We did concede another try later on, but the defense in the second half was pretty heroic, where we just really, really worked hard at not conceding and creating moments. I mean, there was moments, for example, they were right on our doorstep. We hadn't really competed for a while, and the line, bang, we went up, stole the line out. One of the moments, I'm trying to remember who it was. I want to say it was Stephanus Linder, just made a read on one of the defense, managed to hold the player up, turnover ball. We had a couple of turnovers, a couple of moments where every single time it looked like Argentina were about to score, we just had a good tackle, created a turnover, held somebody up, forced a knock on. And it was that spur where I think I'm going to choose to really focus on. We can get bogged down in the negatives of us struggling at set piece, struggling with the scrum, struggling a little bit with the line-out. But we were under lots of pressure, and we managed to absorb the pressure, not concede a lot. Yes, we conceded 4 tries. That is going to be a bit of a worry. But then scoring a try right at the end through Cheswell Yoster, a phenomenal try as well. A little bit of space, burst straight through, showing his speed. And in the end, it was never a game we were going to lose. But a game we maybe should have put to bed a little bit earlier. Discipline is a worry. We'll go through how many penalties we conceded, but it was a lot. 9 entries to 11 entries, but 4.6 entries. We were so clinical today when we had our chances, which bodes well. It's the way you want to have it. That's why we're on 48 points and Argentina on 24, because we were scoring more than double the amount of points per entry to the 22. Our ruck speed was good. When we had the ball, need a bit more possession, ideally, really. You can just see over there, good post-contact meters. I mean, didn't really miss a beat when it came to converting our opportunity in the 22. A couple of line breaks as well. Just needs a bit more ball, to be perfectly honest. I mean, you look over there, 7 line breaks to 1. Our carries 104, more carries, but I think a lot of our post-contact meters were really good. We found space. If we had 150 odd carries, we probably could have, conceded a bit, obviously conceded less, but scored a lot more because we looked really, really dangerous. Again, you look at our defensive profile, some big tackles being made, lots of tackles being made, probably too many tackles missed, to be perfectly honest. And I think at times not good enough at the breakdown. Not massively an issue, but definitely something we want to try and work on. And if we go look at some of the sort of the general stats, 6 tries scored, 6 conversions, 2 penalties. I mean, Vusi Moyo did not miss a beat off the tee. Neither did Argentina, in fairness. But you look at the territory and look where most of the rugby was being played. Well inside our half, 58% inside our own half. So we struggled a bit with our territory, just 37%. Possession as well, 33% in the last 10 minutes, 45% overall. Our set plays, scrums, 64%. When do you ever see a Springbok side with 64%, last 69%, restarts 87%. Our set piece was a disaster. Bizarre for a Bok team to put 48 points in a semi-final, might I add, without a functional set piece. You get that right, all of a sudden you've got the full Monty. On the attack, could have asked for much more. Post-contact meters, line breaks, carries, passing was good. Argentina, turnovers lost was a problem for them. Look at that penalty count. 15 penalties, 2 yellow cards. We've got to halve that on Saturday. We've got to halve the penalty count, no cards. Probably need to try up our defense a little bit. I think we defended generally pretty well, but some of the tries could have been avoided. We kicked pretty well as well, so no real complaints about that. So it's an interesting game because, again, there's lots to complain about from a set-piece point of view. Scrums weren't good enough. Lineouts weren't good enough. Scored 48 points. Conceded 24. Work-ons. Definitely work-ons. But this junior Boks side is an attacking machine. We've scored big points against every opposition we've faced so far this tournament. That's what we need to focus on. We scored 70 points against Australia. We scored 70 points against Scotland. We scored 30 points against England. We just put 47 points on 48 points on Argentina. You know, that's what we need to focus on. And I think what's really, really important is the fact that we focus on what we did well tonight and not get too bogged down on what didn't go right. Yes, we need to make sure we sort out the set pieces, but I think the worst thing the coach can do right now is focus on those negatives and basically just say, guys, you know what you need to fix. You know you need to get that set piece sorted, but look at what you guys can do when you're on. They need to go into that game saying, we know what, we can put points on this New Zealand side. We can have a go. We can take the game to them, and when we're on, no one's going to stop us. Because that, for me, I think is the truth. I think when we play our best attacking rugby, I don't think there's a team at this tournament that can cope with it. There are so many good attacking players in and amongst that side. That loose trio is operating so well. There is definitely so much more cohesion in this side than what we've seen with previous sides, and that's a really big positive. So what did you think of the performance? I'm very happy, despite the obvious shortcomings, because I think that we stuck in the game, we showed a lot of fight, and again, there's just so much positive to focus on. And that's, for me, what I think we should be taking forward into this weekend. What are your thoughts? What would you change? Leave me know down in the comments below. Smash like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.